to promote critical thought and help awaken the evolution that is inside all of us, to push forward every day to learn and evolve into a society that we may find a way to coexist together. It's time for the evolution of life. And now, here are your hosts, Phil Furman and Tyler Munoz.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you so much for joining us today. This is your host, Tyler. Thank you for joining me, Phil. How's it doing? How's it going, man?
It's going great, Tyler. That opening that Wes gives us every week is just phenomenal.
Amazing.
I mean, we just have to always say bow down to Wes for
Thank
that.
you so much, Wes.
So, what's going on today, Tyler?
Not much, man. Not much. We got some world news for everybody. We got some updates on a couple things, the evolution of life, the way things are evolving around the world. And how about you, Phil? What's going on your end?
You know, the college football playoffs have been set. The 4 teams are there. We got a coach who I'm really mad at is in sports. We got a quarterback that got dropped. We got some stuff to talk about in that. So let's get it going,
That's a
Ty.
good point, man. In fact, Ye made some embarrassing statements, and we got some things to talk about on there too, man. So,
yeah, all the way, 2024. All right, let's get it going. Here we are, people. Once again, I hate having to remind you of this, but let's just, for those who don't remember, let me help you with it. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. We talked about that last week, Tyler, because we're still seeing a little bit of this unsettling of what
Absolutely.
is freedom of speech and what's not.
It's a little ridiculous.
And I just say this, and then we'll talk about that in
Yeah.
a second. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal,
Yeah.
that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights,
Yeah.
that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Absolutely.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the constant of the governed.
Mm-hmm.
So, does that mean that the government is more powerful than us? Here's what's happening. I don't like this.
I don't think that's what that means at all. I think what that means is the government is there to protect our freedoms, not protect our safety.
Yeah,
that's how I interpret
I
that.
get that, but in the last month or two, we've seen less than freedom of speech. We've seen less than equality among the unalienable rights.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to beat a dead horse. Once again, all Kyrie said was,
Yeah.
I like the book.
Yeah.
All Kyrie said was,
I thought it was interesting.
and the movie was nice.
Yeah.
I still have yet to hear who the producers and directors of the movie are. I still don't hear who the writer of the book was, but I do know that in the movie, a few of those people that worked were Jewish. Were they monetary Jews or religious Jews? Remember, this is the whole precipitation of what's going on.
We talked about the Khazar dynasty, and we talked about how a lot of people
the Rothschild in 1905
and hide behind the Jewish community.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So my thing is, because you have the two different types. You have the monetary Jewish person, you have the religious Jewish person. And the monetary Jewish people are hiding behind the religious culture of it. That's what I don't like. Because every time it turns around, we hear that. Oh my God, you said that. Guess what? You're anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
And now, of course, I have nothing wrong with it because, you know what? Equality. I'm black, obviously. But the whole, we're going to have an anti-Semitic month. They're really drilling this after the Kyrie thing. I don't think it's fair to that young man because he is not that intellectual that he's dealing with these different levels.
And
he
didn't even cross the barrier into anti-Semitism at all.
Exactly.
He was posing questions. He thought some things were interesting, and to have a dialogue with him would have been a lot healthier than to sit there and reinforce potentially whatever psychosis might have been developing by punishing him and making him see himself as the victim.
Negro to Hebrew. Remember? Negro to Hebrew.
Hey, man.
Hey, I'm part of the priest tribe. I tracked it out. Remember, the priest tribe was of the African tribe. It was part of the Hebrew, of the synagogues and all that made them part of that Jewish thing. We talked about that. So how can I be anti-Semitic if I'm Hebrew to Negro? So let's move on with that, okay? Here we go. Now let me tell you, we're going to talk about a couple things, and we're going to talk about Deion. I'm really pissed at Deion Sanders.
Oh,
We're going to
geez,
keep.
right.
I'm not going to talk about it now,
Okay,
but let's.
okay.
I think we should move on a little bit. Well,
Yeah.
we got time too, don't we? We're not going to rush things today. Is
not a
that
good
how it
idea.
is? So I'll just tell you this a little bit, and we're going to
Yeah.
talk a little bit more because I looked at the press conference. Okay?
Give us an intro.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Remember the head coach,
Yeah.
HBCU. Hey, we're going to bring HBCU to the NFL level and get those players seen in the
Absolutely.
combines, all that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bullshit. Because guess what he just did?
What'd he do?
He just took $29 million for 5 years
Oh my
at
God.
the University of Colorado.
Jesus Christ.
Not an HBCU
Not at
school.
all. Not even remotely.
Remember, I'm going to give
Yeah.
half of my coaching salary to
Uh-huh.
Jackson State. He gave half of that. Well, guess what? $95,000 was half of that. $47,200.
Yeah.
Something like that. Right.
Right.
So that's bullshit. I bet you he don't give half of $29 million to the University of Colorado.
No.
But I don't want to tell you what they said in
Yeah.
the press conference. So let's just
Okay.
move
Yeah,
on
yeah,
to where
yeah,
we're
sure.
at with that.
Sounds good. It sounds good, man.
I tell you what, folks, next week we're going to have some great stuff. We're going to talk about the marijuana laws next week. We're going to talk about mental health next week.
Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
You know what? It's a touchy subject. We've got so many people.
I got a lot of
Not
opinions on
understanding makes people afraid. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Not understanding makes people go, oh my God, there's something wrong with you. No,
Right.
there's something the fuck wrong with you if you don't know.
Yeah.
Check it out. Here
Don't
it
reach
goes.
for fear.
People, this is my life, my life, my life. Anytime you're feeling down, remember, you got to pump yourself back up. You can't wait for that life coach.
Absolutely.
Hey, guess what we're getting ready to do? I got a
What are we getting
surprise
ready to
for my man Tyler. Tyler, you know you've been doing so great, my technical advisor and everything.
Oh,
I just
Bill,
talked
I
to a
appreciate
guy who's a good friend of mine. His name's Wes Johnson. You guys know him. He does our intro. He's also the voice of the Capitals. The Let's Bring the Fury.
Yeah.
He's that guy. But
Yeah.
people don't know he's also 15 different voices on
He's
Xbox
incredible,
games.
man. Yeah.
Well, he just hooked me up. We're going to Super Mag Fest at the end
Oh
of
my
Harbor.
God,
He's
are
getting
you
his
kidding
press
me, man?
passes.
Dude.
You know, what is Mag Fest? Because I don't know. That's your
Yeah.
little
Oh, man. No.
gyro geek. No, it tells me. I
Right.
know. I know
Okay,
Wes
cool.
from sports. You know him from, oh my God, he talked to me at 3 in the morning. Drethel, all that bullshit.
Right.
What is game? MagFest is short for Music and Gaming Festival.
Yep.
MagFest is a 4-day-long event dedicated to
Super
the
exciting.
appreciation of video game music, gaming of
awesome.
all types in the gaming community. The event runs 24 hours a day and offers consoles, arcades, tabletop, LAN, live video game cover, bands, chiptunes, vendors, guest speakers, and much, much more. It's
going to be
Plus,
incredible.
A&M Media, we're going to be there. We're going to do a live podcast from there.
Absolutely.
We're going to try to talk to some of those great people that you guys all hear, those voices.
This is
I
gonna
didn't
be
know
exciting.
the guy from Keenan and Kel, the skinny one, Kel.
Yeah.
He does voices. He'll be there. What's her
What?
name? The girl from Bring It On, the one that gave the finger.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, those people will be there. And I'm like, what? I didn't realize. I thought it was
Dude,
just
that
for.
is awesome.
I don't mean to insult you, but I just gearheads and nerds. You know.
No,
Let's,
man, not at all.
let's- you know what? I forgot to let people know. We're going to talk about crazy ass Antonio Brown. You're not going to believe what the hell happened with him in the sporting section.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
let's move on with it. It's time for our commentary.
Absolutely.
And we're going to start with. I already talked about it because I'm going to let Tyler talk because you know once he gets talking, folks. You know I love hearing the guy talk. He's my man, pots and pans. So I just talked about it earlier, the priest tribe and how we talked about the
Absolutely,
anti-Semitism.
man.
So
that was some really interesting
yeah.
stuff, man.
Right, I
And
want to look at it some more.
It's
about
crazy how little coverage it's gotten in the media, especially since last week we played that clip of that Israeli pastor talking about the legitimacy of this lineage.
I think they're called rabbis. I really do, Tyler. It's
Oh,
okay.
you know what? What am I? Yeah,
They're going to probably blaspheme you for that because you called
thank
like.
you very much, Phil. What am I doing?
It's okay.
What am I doing?
You were talking about. We're going to talk about Yay all the way.
But yeah,
I know you got a lot to
absolutely,
talk
man.
about him,
dude. So Kanye West went on, of all people, Alex Jones' show and ended up literally saying, "Well," and I'm quoting, "Well, I think Hitler did some good things," and it was incredible, man, because he goes on Alex Jones' podcast and he ends up making Alex Jones look like the voice of reason, dude. So Alex
Jones is like one of the biggest
conspiracy theorists out there.
Right.
Yeah, dude. So he's on Alex Jones' show, and Alex Jones is trying to reel him in, And he's like, hey, look, man, people call you Nazi. It's unfounded. You don't like the Nazis. I don't like the Nazis. We're not Nazis. And Kanye West goes, ... Well, I think Hitler did some good things. And he said this while in a head-to-toe Balenciaga outfit. And this is when you and I covered last week.
Balenciaga, we talked all about
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So, what is Kanye West doing involved in all of this crap, man?
Right.
Like, dude, he's destroying his own image. I don't know what he's thinking. I was all for, like, I was like, Kanye West is another Kyrie Irving situation here.
He just keeps putting his foot in his mouth.
He does. He literally puts his foot in his mouth.
He was here last week in the Frederick. He was actually right here. He was at Westview out here at the Montauk, the Japanese restaurant. Because he was on that Tim, what was that guy's name? Tim Flower show?
Tim Pool, yeah.
And, like, he was dressed like, I'm like,
yeah, and then
whose boots you got on? Because four people could get on. I'm like, is that really a fashion statement you're wearing?
And
he's looking bad. I mean,
and on the Tim Pool podcast, he walked out when there was nothing going on.
That's who it was,
there wasn't even really an argument. Like Tim Pool was just saying, I'm not sure it's entirely Jewish people that are causing all the problems in your life, and he just walks out, and everyone's like, what's he doing?
People don't realize in the last stages of a lot of these stars' lives, they start getting those private medications from those doctors, and they're heavily medicated.
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier.
His brain is fried.
Right. He's, all of a sudden,
he started out pretty
he's
crazy
like,
to begin
this
with.
guy's like giving me bad vibes. Get up and go.
Literally.
That's just what he's doing.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, and I'm going to say it because remember we talked about this stuff. Ye might not be around in another couple years. He might be one of those sad sagas because look at him. He's never happy. Plus the whole, oh my God. If you see a Kardashian come and run the other way, it's so bad for you.
Oh, geez.
Every guy that I've seen them be with, they walk around like their shoulders slumped now. They have no spirit left.
God.
It's just driven out of them. So, Kanye,
Horrifying.
I feel
they're
really
like
bad for you,
Barbie
brother.
dolls, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they're what
gross.
is it, anatomically correct or
It's
whatever?
gross.
Give me a break.
I think
they've got so much stuff going
gross.
on now. I like you wake up the next morning like, who are you? I didn't.
Yeah.
Was I with you last night? Anyway, let's move on with it, Tyler. What we got going on? Is it time for my sports yet?
Is it?
Is it time? Yes. We're going to talk about sports. Are we doing all right? Because listen, folks, Tyler gets on me because even though I can talk for a long period of time, he tells me, don't rush the podcast.
Hey, look, man, we had a lot going on this week. If today's a shorter episode, it's not the biggest deal, man.
We're just back. You know what? I'm so sorry I didn't ask you. How was your weekend vacation?
Oh, it was incredible, man.
How was it? Where'd you go? What'd you do?
My lady and I went to New York. It was a belated 30th birthday celebration from my dad. He took us out there. He took me out to all the spots that I was at when I was a kid throughout Queens.
Did you go to the Lower East Side at all?
No, we really checked
out. Where the bodegas are, the food.
We really checked out Manhattan. We really checked out Astoria, because that's where I was born.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't have a lot of time. It was 3 days. So I hit the Rockefeller Center on the last day.
You did all the tourist things, didn't you?
We did all the tourist
corny
things.
tourist
We took a picture at the tree.
Oh, my God. Rockefeller Center tree.
They had the Christmas tree up. It was fun, man. There's we tried to ice skate, but we
was crowded as hell.
Yeah,
it was so crowded. I mean, there's like a waiting line of like an hour and a half, and the ice is thawing out, and you're like, I just want to go across the ice, Daddy.
Right. No, it was good. Yeah. It was a great time with my lady. It was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have a friend. She's a doctor now. She was in the WB band when we were in the band years ago, and her daughter was in the Macy's Day Parade. They have that drum and bugle corps, the LBGQT.
Yeah.
And she, both of her daughters are in it, and I'm like,
that's
wow,
awesome.
That's so cool because they were both in the WB band, and so she was up there. I was like, I called her for some, some doctor advice, and she's like, well, I'm standing in front of Macy's, but people in New York is just great. I think that's great.
That's awesome.
All right, so we're gonna get to sports now.
Awesome, man. Let's do it.
Because I've been wanting to talk about this shit for so long.
Yeah, man.
Okay, let's start with some good stuff first, and then we'll get to the other. Mm-hmm. All right, funny thing. Mm-hmm. The World Soccer Games, the Saudi Arabia team, they bowed out real early on, right? Mm-hmm. But guess what they were rewarded with? Each of them got a Rolls-Royce car for participating in the World Cups.
Oh,
whatever's
my
going
gosh.
I'm like, they lost the first game, and they get a Rolls-Royce.
Oh, man.
So Saudi Arabia is really, I guess we would have got a Ford EXP or some shit.
Literally.
Okay. And the next thing is, of course, even though I hate talking about it, but I do like saying this because the Lakers are on last 8 of 10 games they won, but LeBron ain't the star. That's why I love talking about it. Anthony Davis, AD, he's averaging double figures for the last 8 games. LeBron is being a secondary player like he should have been. I'm sorry, but you know how I feel like you want to be like Mike. He can't be like Mike. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel about LeBron. He cries too much. You're built like a Greek god. You're 6'11" and chiseled, and you're like, ref, he slapped me coming across the lane.
I don't know why, but he strikes me like some rich kid.
He is. He got $1 billion from Phil Knight. He got $1 billion from Phil Knight, and he did his own agent stuff, so he's dumb because he should have gotten $40 billion. Do you know how much Nike does a month?
Yeah.
Like
dude,
40 billion a month.
He's got this
book. They gave him $1 billion to keep his mouth shut as part of that Illuminati stuff. We'll talk about that. Now, we're going to talk about that down the road.
LeBron James has got this book, right, that he's always pictured as reading. It's written by Malcolm X, and he's on the same page of the
same book. I saw that too.
Every single picture. Dude, he's a shill. He has no idea what he's talking about, and he doesn't believe in anything he says.
He's like Shaq. Remember with the whole Kyrie thing, they came out, Shaq, Charles Barkley, and LeBron, they're like, oh my God, anti-Semitic. Like, you know what's worse? Do you know what's worse? Black on black crime.
Yeah.
That's what was worse, what just happened. Shaq, and then all of a sudden, what's his name? He was like, I was going to, Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Oh, let me shut up because they gave me $1 million.
Literally.
I'm tired of hearing it. Tired of hearing it. So we're moving on from that bowl.
Cool, man.
Hey, here we go. Georgia versus Ohio State, 1-2. The CFP is set. College football playoffs are set. The 4 teams. Georgia Bulldogs, Ohio State Buckeyes, TCU Horned Frogs, and Michigan Wolverines. But they're wanting a rematch because on Fox, 17 million people watched the Michigan-Ohio State game.
Yeah.
So they got Georgia playing Ohio State, which will be a good game. Don't know who's going to win yet. I'll predict that before we get that far. You got TCU and Michigan.
Yeah.
Going to be a good game.
Okay.
If somehow Michigan beats Ohio State, there's going to be over 100 million people on December 31st watching that game.
Wow.
Because it's that Big Ten mystique.
Wow.
And it's sometimes I feel like it's rigged sometimes because it just Ohio State's a one-loss team and it's just they're not supposed to be there.
A number of years ago, there were a ton of news articles that came out talking about how the NFL, now I don't know about college, but the NFL itself was rigged. And it was rigged in order to sell more tickets and create certain narratives
it's not rigged,
for
it's
certain
called Bring the
teams.
Gate.
And
it's an administrative technique.
Well, they create a plan for a certain team to lose a certain number of games, win a certain number of games, make it into playoffs, and win the Super Bowl to create this like underdog winning vibe.
And think about the teams that win those cities. Think about it. Last couple of years, Tampa Bay. Remember that? And who won it before that was Kansas City. See, those big booming towns that just got those new stadiums that have those revenues that they have to pay, and the city gets a piece of that taxation.
It's interesting the way the whole system
they pay back into
works.
the NFL.
Yeah.
Listen, I know. I had my
almost
mentor
like,
when I went back to college. He was the athletic director for Western University.
It's like the WWE, which is a different version.
They just didn't show it on TV like they showed WWE stuff. You know, they what's his name that showed all their business and that's all the NFL is. It's backdoor drop-off money stuff.
Yep.
We're gonna get in so much trouble, but I don't care. let's move on. Hey, in football also, Baker Mayfield, you know, he had those great commercials like he lived in the Cleveland Browns Stadium. Of course, they sold him last year, and he went to Jacksonville Jaguars or Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
They just let him go. He is now a Los Angeles Rams.
Oh.
So Baker Mayfield is all going on his 3rd team. This is a Heisman Trophy winner.
Wow.
You know, those guys each get $1 million.
Yeah.
For being a Heisman Trophy winner, and also when they do those commercials out of the house. You ever seen the Heisman House thing?
Yeah.
And they get paid off of that.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
Baker Mayfield's went from one of the leading quarterbacks to one of the leading social media quarterbacks.
Interesting. So what is the difference between a leading quarterback and a leading social media quarterback?
Leading social media quarterback was once a leading quarterback and has a lot of following, and now he's sitting on the bench.
So he's sitting on the bench, but he's leveraging his social media influence.
He's getting paid left and right.
Through endorsements and stuff like that.
Oh, my God, yeah. Through the endorsements, the contracts, and
Yeah.
That's just what's happened. If anybody doesn't know, I'm a WVU alumni. WVU got a new athletic director, but they're keeping the same coach. So I'm sorry, I don't trust the climb, because that's the big thing. WVU, trust the climb. I don't trust the climb, and I bleed blue and gold.
So I just want to touch on so it seems like an interesting retirement plan for a lot of these athletes to eventually segue their way over into social media influencing and more money through endorsements, less money through contracts.
Well, remember the lifespan. You only have to do, it's 3 years in the NFL to get your pension, because most of them get the head injuries and all that.
How many years has Tom Brady done at this point? I mean, is he
17, 18 almost, because remember,
is he taking HGH?
Giselle,
is this
model,
dude?
Listen, the model taught him well. That European model. They take the blood out and they put it in cold packs and then put it back in their bodies, which gave them that youth. Did you see how Tom Brady looks? My God, I'm like,
I don't even understand.
Is he
like,
I mean, I'm not even gay. The guy's beautiful.
HGH?
He's doing all that. And now that she's left, look how old he's getting. What? She left him. Remember, Giselle? She divorced him.
Yeah.
That's why I want to talk about Antonio Brown. You know, he had naked pictures of her and all that. Yeah. So now, what's happened?
Antonio Brown had naked pictures of Giselle?
Of Tom Brady's wife. Because remember, he lived with them when he was playing with Tampa Bay. Tom was like, come on, buddy, come down here. I got you. And he was playing with Tampa Bay, and then he took his shoulder pads off on the field in the middle of the game. It was on TV. You're such not a sports nut.
No,
God.
This guy, they lived together, and he's got naked pictures of Tom Brady's wife.
They're not together anymore. She's divorced him, left him. But
but this was while they were together.
Right.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's all over.
Jesus
Here's
God,
what's really
man.
crazy, because we're still in sports.
Well,
I might as well bring it up.
From her,
Listen,
dude.
Speaking of Antonio Brown, the police just knocked on his door to serve a warrant to him the other night for domestic violence. It's all over YouTube. Listen to this. The police knocked to say, Antonio Brown, we're serving a warrant to you. Will you come out? No. So he said no. They didn't come out. He had the woman inside who called. It was some kind of domestic. Now here's the thing: for you ladies who are not very smart,
what did the police do?
I just wanted to let these ladies know this. For you ladies who are not very smart, let's remember one thing: if you go be with one of these superstar professional players, you got to remember there's going to be some real freaky deaky above level shit that you've never had before going on in your life. It's a different level. Some of these girls, you know, they're professionals. They go and lay ready for these guys, and they're like, I'm going to hook one of these NFL players or NBA guys, and I want to get, because okay, we might as well keep it real. Listen, some of these guys, after they have sex, will take their condoms, put it in their pocket so the woman doesn't take the turkey syringe, take the sperm, and take it home and get pregnant.
Yeah. Well,
it's happened to a lot of them. You know, it's called that quick money, ghetto, fabulous type crap.
Yeah.
So, whatever happened with this woman, Law, Crime, and Sidebar put it on YouTube.
Oh my jeez, dude.
That they had this, and the video is like 14 minutes long, and it shows this guy talking about it, and they're like, Antonio, come out, we want to talk to you. He's like, no, you got a warrant for my arrest. Let me tell you something. This is the weirdest thing, because if they had a warrant for my black ass, they'd have kicked the door in a long time ago. So I really don't understand.
Where's the SWAT team?
Well, guess
rich
what?
Rich people, man.
No, it's not rich.
Okay.
Let's go one step further, because
Okay.
I don't know if we're allowed to say it out loud, but I don't give a fuck. That Illuminati thing, what they're all tied into.
Literally,
Antonio's part of Tom Brady and Giselle and all that. Remember some of those guys?
I feel you.
What's
There's a
his
whole
name?
network of these
Jim,
people.
what's the comedian came on? Jimmy Fallon. What's the comedian's name that did? Oh, shit the bed. What's that comedian's name? I know you know I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
He's like, he does the crazy shit and did all the animals and.
I'm lost. I'm sorry.
Jim something. Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He was on Jimmy Fallon, and he goes, Jimmy, come on. Don't act like you don't know about this. Don't act like you don't know. And I'm making a triangle for you who don't know. And if you look on the back of a $20 bill, I'll tell you something else in a second.
Well,
yeah, we'll talk about that. But anyway, he made that, and he goes, Jimmy, don't act like you don't know about the Illuminati. So they're starting to bring it out.
Listen, for Jim Carrey to say that, because Jim Carrey is so on the inside.
Right.
So that's crazy. Yeah, so he was probably trying to present it as a joke, but Jim Carrey is an absolute establishment
He was not trying to present it as a joke.
Really? I did not see that.
Listen, what's happening now is because of everybody talking about these things, let's be woke.
Well,
let's
they've
be
got
woke.
so much
they're
fascist
talking
control
about,
over our society.
Everybody's like,
they
you know what?
establish
F
legal
it. I'm
precedent
part
with
of
these
Illuminati.
lockdowns.
Okay, so just real quick to moving on the back of the $20 bill, people, inside there's a triangle. Inside that triangle, if you blow that picture up, the White House you'll see in the back of that, okay? And also you'll see a slave hanging right there.
Well, okay, look, I don't know about all that. Listen, I know,
I saw it.
But
I did it with the
I know that the
see.
pyramid in the dollar bill is an allegory, is an analogy for the top of the pyramid being the upper class, the bottom of the pyramid being the lower classes that build the system, the light coming from the eye being knowledge and information that are controlled by the upper classes, and they trade that knowledge and information for the labor from the lower classes. And so but it's an analogy for class control,
right?
And we don't, our system and the problems that we deal with today are not racism. No. The upper class tries to push the idea that it is racism, to promote race wars and
divide us,
divide
the lower
lower
level.
classes.
That's not what it is.
What we're dealing with today is classism, and we're dealing with the upper classes trying to manipulate the knowledge that the lower classes receive in order to keep them confused and spinning in circles.
The different cultures, the different ways. I didn't even know this. Over in like Asia, the Philippines, if you are darker, you're considered a worker, because those are the people that work out in the rice fields and stuff, and the people. And I didn't realize this. I found out why Asians carry umbrellas. They don't want to get darker because they want to represent the higher class.
And that has to do with how much labor you use. That doesn't have to do with white people versus black people.
No, it's not. It's the classes.
Idea of, are you outside working, or do you have money and do you come from money and do you have the luxury of being inside?
It's all about money. So I'm out of here when it comes to the sports, guys. It's going to be some great sports.
That was incredible. That was
a lot of crap goes on off the
crazy interesting stuff, man.
All right. Hey, we're at that time.
Yep.
It's time for our evolution. Is it? No. You want me spirituality first, then we'll go to the evolution. You want to go there?
Yeah.
All right, so folks, we're getting ready to get into it right now, and this is, my main man Tyler. He's got a lot to say about that. But just remember, I'm going to say this to you right before we get into this, because we do not represent either way, but we do love to talk about it because we can, because it's our platform of freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
So anybody who says, oh my God, those guys are bigots or criticize, you know what? You know what I'm going to say, but I'm not allowed to. But otherwise, just remember, you can get a hold of us at anmmediaofficial@gmail.com. That's anmmediaofficial.com.
Whoa. anmmediaofficial@gmail.com.
Say it again, Tyler.
anmmediaofficial@gmail.com.
anmmediaofficial@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
And right before we get into this, I just want you all to remember this. To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you are not allowed to criticize.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Tyler, we're going to talk about this today in this, okay. Yeah, I know you want to talk about the DOJ and the government. You're
so
crazy man and all that.
Man. Dude, so this is the evolution of our life. This is the evolution of our political system. This is the evolution of government bodies. This is a universal thing that's happened throughout our entire history. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. We exist in a system. We exist in a world that falls victim to the process of entropy. We exist in a world that falls victim to the process of consolidation. Everything consolidates. Everything coagulates. That's the way our world works. So our economy has slowly evolved into a series of monopolies that control industries, just like how our institutions have evolved into international institutions rather than local ones that we have no say or voice or control over. Another example of this evolutionary development is the merger of government and corporate control over the public sphere.
Yeah, what the hell is this about this DOJ censorship?
It's crazy, man.
I want to know more about that.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
And so at this point, in order to maintain control over the public discourse, the Intercept themselves, a really prominent, vetted news organization, came out with documents that were leaked recently that demonstrated the DOJ had a direct back channel to Twitter and other social media platforms like Facebook, etc., and they directly requested that would immediately be followed. They demanded people be censored based on national security interests. So this is a direct violation of the First Amendment. This is directly illegal.
What did I just say? The freedom of speech and all that.
Exactly.
And for those of you who don't know, the DOJ is the Department of Justice.
Yep.
So they're trying to censor you all, and we've all given them our information, because if you look on people's Facebook, my God, I can go back on somebody and find out where they're at within an hour. Yeah,
this is why
I do, because you know what? I don't give a fuck.
Look,
that's the way I am.
Look, that's great for you, man. Look, I do not touch social media. Like, I do not. Like, even Gab.com and other social media platforms that encrypt their servers and maintain everything privately. Dude, look, if rappers in the 90s were dry snitching on themselves, then your social media profile is you dry snitching on yourself.
Exactly.
So literally, like, don't touch it.
Listen, they said, that WhatsApp. Oh, that's totally cryptic. Totally cryptic.
Oh, sure.
Did you know the FBI raided over 200 different Mexican cartels and all different things after they got all the information from WhatsApp on it?
These encrypted platforms
are run by FBI.
Literally, they have direct relationships with these government organizations, and it was just a rumor. It was provable before, but we did not have whistleblowers. We did not have direct leaks until The Intercept got a hold of this and came out with this a few weeks ago. And now there are committees in our Congress that are focusing on investigating this. There's legal action. There's court cases involved. Fauci was recently just deposed regarding his relationship in defining what misinformation is in order to have this censored on social media.
I mean, Fauci said that he doesn't remember that his study he based hydrochloroquine in COVID treatment claimed on what he retracted. He said he didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. He said he didn't know that, even though he said he knew on countless interviews, and he said he didn't remember 174 times in his deposition. 174 times. Like,
this is what's bad. He testified.
Yeah.
Dr. Anthony Fauci testified that he couldn't recall that a major study published. He couldn't recall that there was a major study published in an influential medical journal that was retracted after it erroneously found that hydroxychloroquine was ineffective.
Ridiculous.
And he couldn't remember that. This is a doctor who's like, the doctor, is he our Surgeon General right now? No, he's not, right?
Think about this. So he pushed for hospitals and private practicing physicians to no longer prescribe hydrochloroquine. So in order to get access to it, people would resort to getting veterinary hydrochloroquine, which is molecularly exactly the same. There is no difference between the hydrochloroquine that is prescribed to people and the hydrochloroquine that you would get through veterinary sources. In fact, you can get many medications through veterinary sources that are exactly the same as the human dose, and you can save a lot of money if that's your choice. And I would suggest doing it. Personally, my personal choice is when I have, that's what I do. Anyway, so it's ridiculous. It's dishonest for him to even claim that, because him and the government push for banning or making it illegal to get access to medications, and then they sit there and use it as a marketing point, or they use it as a talking point to say people are getting the veterinary versions of these medications when they are literally exactly the same.
This is great.
It's insane.
This is your chief medical advisor of the White House. This is the problem I have was I don't remember 174 times. So
crazy,
what are you telling me, dude? You need to be retired because you got Alzheimer's? That's kind of scary.
And so now we know the government can't be trusted because they don't know what they're talking about, right?
We're so in trouble.
Not only does our own government not know what they're talking about, but they're going to shut down any voices that disagree with them in the public sphere.
There we have it.
How horrifying is that?
We the people.
We live in a fascist state right now. We live in a corporate fascist state as it exists right now.
People don't realize that. People are not realizing. That's why everybody's talking about you should be woke. You should wait. Because There's more of us than there are them.
And I just want to make it clear, guys. I'm not giving anybody medical advice. Okay, I'm just saying, me personally, I save money by getting veterinary versions of medications when I find that I'm prescribed certain medications and I don't want to pay the full price.
Amen to that.
I don't have health insurance.
And once again, we're going to get into that next week with the mental health, the marijuana laws, because personally, I'll let you know. Growing up in the 70s, seeing the big needles going, athletes' knees and stuff, I was always, good thing I was a chicken shit about taking a needle.
Yeah.
And, then in college, of course, we did I did, Quaaludes and acid, Windopain, man, acid in the eyes. I did all that
You
stuff.
did Quaaludes?
Oh, I
Dude,
did a 714 Roar, lemon Quaaludes.
Look, Quaaludes don't exist anymore.
No.
I have a recipe to make them, and I will one day, okay? Because I'm not living my life without experiencing this, dude. My dad has told me about Quaaludes.
Yes, the experiences of the clean drugs in the 70s.
There's no other drug that isn't in its classification.
Look, before crack cocaine, you'd be in a club and you'd see somebody sniff some powder up a spoon. You'd be like, look at that dude, it's cool. Now you see him, you're like, look at the crackhead. There's such a different mystique about things.
Bro,
and
I'm just going to say,
I tell people, I don't care.
If I see somebody sniffing something up their nose, I might go up, talk to them.
Well, my thing is, I have a problem with the fentanyl thing. They're putting it in everything. And, just
That's
to let
for
everybody know, if you're not buying your weed from a dispensary or somebody they're putting fentanyl in street weed now.
Man.
So,
I've had friends that
I want
bought
people to
bags
know
of-
this.
yeah.
This is, God, it's terrible. That's my thing. I tell my kids this. I say this. Look, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and tell you don't party, because I was the biggest one. I lived on the edge. But I am going to tell them this. I didn't have to worry about fentanyl. Everything I did back then was clean.
Literally. And here's the thing, man. With this fentanyl stuff, dude, they're putting fentanyl in cocaine.
Yes.
A couple
They're
of years
putting
ago.
it everywhere now. People, a friend of one of the girls, they just dropped
couple of-
over dead in the club, man.
Oh,
this
my
is,
God,
And this
dude,
is
look.
Morgantown. This is WVU.
Yeah,
this is college. College students now.
Yeah.
That's why people are caring more, because when it was in the hood, you didn't hear of any of this.
I hear that, yeah.
You didn't hear this. Now it's in the suburbs.
That's
it's
wild.
It's in the universities.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, my friend was hospitalized for getting a bag of cocaine that had fentanyl in it, and they had no idea till afterwards, man.
That's why I smoked the ganja, man. I don't care.
And they're putting it. Dude, I've heard of fentanyl being put on weed now.
Yes, street weed. If you don't
Insane.
know, so I'm just telling you, buy from who you know. Get your dispensary card like the rest of us, because knuckle up. Bow. That's what time it is. Tyler, are we ready to go to my word of the
Absolutely,
day?
man. Yeah.
All right. Listen, it was great talking about the evolution of the DOJ.
Absolutely.
But right now, you guys, I want you to remember something. If you pay attention to the patterns of your life, you'll realize that everything's worked out. Even when you think it has all gone wrong, you are taken to a greater destination than the one you had planned. You always grow, and the things you think you can't survive, you somehow divinely make it through. Always remember that. And let me just listen to this. This is Lionel Richie, and he's playing Father Help Your Children. Let them fall. Don't let them fall by the side of the road. Listen, people, for those people that are out there that you need to help, they're not asking for a hand out. They're asking for a hand up. And if you were ever in that position where you needed that, you need to pass it on.
Absolutely.
Move it forward.
Yeah.
And that's my spiritual part of it, because this is Reverend Ill Phil, and I am an ordained minister. And I don't care. I'm carry a gun, cuss, smoke weed. Hey, I'm a 2022 Reverend. Hey, we're in world news right now, and I want to know something. Tyler, tell me about this skyrocketing crime that's going
All
on,
over.
and they're
Cities
bringing
in the
military. Talk to me,
It's
brother.
getting crazy, man. So we're getting reports from New York that people are claiming that it's feeling like 1985 all over again. Philly's exploding with crime all over the place. John Fetterman, this guy that just won governor, he had a program of releasing violent criminals back into the streets after reduced sentences, and it's resulted in skyrocketing crime all over Philly. It's getting so bad that at a gas station in Philly, we've got armed cops with automatic weapons patrolling. So they're normalizing militarized police now all over the country. Yep.
Right. That and let me ask you this one. This is to monitorize the gasoline, or the people are getting robbed going to the gas stations?
So there have been so many armed robberies at this gas station that now they need police with full-on MP5 automatic weapons on their chest full on like tactical gear, ready
and
to
I bet
rumble.
you they're young kids too.
Yeah, right.
You see, here's a problem.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy,
DC
man.
has this
Yeah.
problem too right now. That running
Tons
back
of young
for
kids,
running
16-year-olds
back for the
specifically.
Washington Commanders, he got shot. It was a 15-year-old kid that jacked
crazy,
his
man.
car.
Yup.
So it's these young kids today, and I'm gonna tell you,
Yup.
what did I call them, Tyler? These elderly millennials.
Yup.
Listen, folks, if you're an older person and you're raising your kids right now, damn it, raise your damn
Yup.
kids.
Absolutely,
This bullshit. The kids. Listen, the mother who the kid ran into that school shot up all the kids. I still can't
Insane.
believe they were like, well, ma'am, what do you think?
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't know he had that many guns in his room.
Oh,
Number
my
one, he shouldn't have had
God.
a gun.
Dude.
That's one. Number two, I
You
didn't
should
want
know
to.
your
I didn't
kid's
want to
unstable.
get in his privacy. That's his
Oh,
privacy. Let me
my
tell you something. It's
God.
my daughters told me, and I'll say it. They're like, Dad, don't go in our rooms. It's our privacy. Fuck that. I lay
Move
on your
out.
bed. I read your diary.
Yo.
I go through the
You
drawers.
can move
I see
out.
what if you got change. I take it. Let me tell you something,
Dude.
Your kids don't have no damn rights, and that's the problem today. Parents give their kids rights. Too many damn rights. Get back to old school. Get back to old school.
It's about, look, kids need guidance, man.
Guidance.
That's the whole point.
They need
Children
to-
need guidance. They need
Guidance.
to know where to go
Yes,
in life.
sir.
They
Yes,
don't
sir.
understand how to guide themselves, and your idea that they do is absolutely factually incorrect.
Yeah. What's the update on FTX?
Yeah, man. Yeah, so the update on FTX is there is no update on FTX because the government is completely ignoring it. Caroline Ellison, who literally is the one
The SEC commissioner's daughter.
Gary Gensler's daughter,
Right.
who's the individual who literally lost $10 billion of customer funds.
Lost.
She spotted in New York, walking free. Literally spotted the same weekend I'm in
Well,
there.
she might have been looking for that $10 billion.
wow.
I don't
Okay,
know.
well, we
But
can't assume anything.
The biggest thing here is, folks, this is the SEC commissioner's
Ridiculous.
daughter.
Yes.
And her boyfriend gave her $10 billion to invest, and she lost
Dude,
it.
here's
Did
the
she
thing.
lose it
Here's the
betting?
thing. He took the $10 billion from customers. So originally she lost $10 billion, and then he took $10 billion of people who had invested in crypto into his crypto exchange. He took their money
Was that the FTX
and he
guy?
handed it to her. Yes.
Yeah, he
yes.
was on 2020,
He-
and they asked him, they're like, "Sir, are you afraid you're going to go to jail?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know." I'm like, what kind of
What?
question is that? And listen,
dude,
the
he gave-
background is he's somewhere in the Bahamas.
Yeah,
He's like in
yep.
this warm. He's somewhere where extradition isn't going to catch him. Once again.
Gave over $1 billion to the Uniparty. He's not going to jail.
Right,
okay?
right.
And they're going to wait for this to blow over for him to not go to jail. Why is Caroline Ellison palling around in New York? Why? Because she's Gary Gensler's daughter. He's the head of the SEC. They're the ones that are in charge, and they get to do what they want. And us little proletariat, we don't get to say a damn thing about it.
Hey, that's crazy. You know what? We always have a lot to talk about, but
Absolutely,
right now,
man.
I have to make sure we talk about the people who pay our bills. Hey, folks, don't forget Zaza Shoes and Clothing Boutique on Florida Avenue in Washington, D.C. Zaza Shoes and Clothing Boutique has the only Jay-Z line paper planes apparel of clothing and shoes
Check
in the
them out,
whole
guys.
DMV area. They also have the I-71 compliance store upstairs, so you can go upstairs and get your gummies on or sit back and have a nice spleef.
Heck yeah.
Zaza Shoes and Clothing
Zaza
Boutique.
Shoes and Clothing.
Holler at my man Julius. Tell him I sent you. He'll give you a 10% discount.
Thank you so
All
much, guys.
Hey, Loma Cakes and Catering. Those
The best
cupcakes
cupcakes
that
and
you'll
cakes.
ever taste.
Absolutely.
Loma Cakes and Catering. She does a great job on her catering business. She does all types of events. I told you she just did the state capitol last week. She's getting ready to do a Christmas
Incredible.
event.
Yeah.
She's like, "You gonna come down and help me?" I'm like, I don't know.
Oh,
Because the last time I did, I couldn't breathe. You know, I'm sitting there eating the food on the sun.
Yeah,
you know.
I hear that, man.
So
Totally.
yeah, so Loma Cakes and Catering. If you want, after the first of the year, you'll be able to order 37 different types on the
Wow.
menu that'll be
Look
on
at
our
that.
website
Heck yeah.
that we will be shipping out. So
That's
remember
amazing.
that Loma Cakes and Catering.
Cakes and Catering.
We got a new company coming out. This is coming out probably after the first of the year. They're called On Point Photography Studios. Or check them out. Nina and Olivia. They're going to
Yep.
be setting you down, making you look beautiful, and
Absolutely,
also
guys.
they do fine arts with furniture and all types of
wow.
things. We're going to find out more about what they're going, but I like the name On Point.
On Point.
Photograph Studios. That's pretty nice.
Check them out.
We'll check them out. All right, folks. Remember, our mission statement of the evolution of life is to promote critical thought and help awaken the evolution that is inside all of us.
Yep.
To push forward every day, to learn and evolve into a society that we may find a way to coexist together. And right now, we're going to take you out with my main man, Tyler. This is his Growing Pains, his song he sang. But just remember, an angel gets another wings. Kirstie Alley died yesterday, folks. And if you remember her, she was such a lovely lady over the years. She did Moonlighting with Bruce Willis, and a lot of other movies. And she was a great lady, beautiful woman. So heaven got another angel, and she got her wings.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us today, guys, for another episode. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good day, guys. We appreciate you.
This has been an A&M Media production.
Still been coasting through the extra bullshit from my own emotions, trying to find the truth within the haystack that is life within my place that leaves me hot. I made mistakes, but I'm still high. The path to find yourself almost always leads through hell. Time is chosen, we prevail. Pain it molds us even still. Find the force behind the will with no recourse to make the field. Stepping forward, feeling chills, growing past the deepest ills. I lost my way, but here I am, out there thinking I'm the man. All this change inside my pocket, but no mind to understand. Caught up in a life of dodging coppers, fighting robbers. Mine was fried from all the uppers, mixed with downers. Try to clown us, we pop off. In less than a minute, we strap for the business like ready, and now we go mask off. Like hold up, we in it, we stacking the digits like walking around 4 racks. I'd have big money spent on lawyers, seized by cops or court recordings. Saw a lot, but lost way more, and in the end, I'm better for it. The path to find yourself almost always leads through hell. Time is chosen, we prevail. Pain it molds us even still. Find the force behind the will with no recourse to make the field. Stepping forward, feeling chills, growing past the deepest hills. I found myself. Reached in deep, still was broken. Well, I guess my time was chosen. Working past this fettered ocean. Insecurities, thought debris, a puppet, dirty effigy. Was luck that had me thinking I was God till karma beckoned me. Trying to piece what's left of me. Buried father energy. I've yet to master thinking faster. Searching through my memories. Was always plastered, mind so bad it lost within my revelries. It all came crashing, high collapsing long before my felonies.